Well, this video is not going to be for any professional body shop people or anybody who wants a car done to the 9s or the 10s with the restoration. But this is basically going to be for people that have an older car or an older truck or a Jeep, especially in rust-prone areas. And I've decided to try this myself because I remember some old tips from way back. And you know, some of these new materials out they never had before, and I'm going to discuss a couple of things. Again, if you're going to do a true restoration on a car, you don't want to be doing this kind of stuff because I'm not 100% sure this is going to be good long term, but I'm pretty damn sure because of some things I knew from way back, but also some of the newer materials that are out there, and that is using stainless steel to use as a patch panel for rust repair. Before, you never did that, you know, because the paint wouldn't stick to it right. Actually, the better way to paint stainless steel is not even to bother using primer. It's just to freaking paint it. But they got some new stuff now, and actually I want to tell you something else. Not that I could work on this car, because I wouldn't do this on this car anyway, and it's got a little bit of rust corrosion on here, you can see on this bumper. But I knew this way back from this guy that used to do these cars. He used to color paint the chrome bumpers. Everybody else that did that stuff, the damn paint would flake off. He said it was all in the preparation, and you're thinking, well, yeah, they were prepping it, they were DA sanding it, they were, you know, pre-cleano. He says you don't sand it, you use bead blast. You bead blasted or light sand blast. You did not sand it. It had to be bead blasted, and that's what made it stick to the chrome. And I'm thinking that's really what you got to do to the stainless steel. Now I've heard other things, because back, like, I'm not a professional at this at all. I'm very much an amateur, and I haven't messed with this in many years. I used to work with a guy for 4 years when I was going to school for accounting, that he was good. He knew his stuff. He worked at dealerships, and he also worked out of his van, and he also painted the Corvettes for the Corvette Concourse Club, whatever it was. He could paint. He knew what he was doing. But none of this stuff was out back then. I mean, it was Ditzler. Delstar Ditzler was the first. I remember that first came out, and that was the first test case. My car, 69 Roadrunner convertible, was the first test case for that puppy. That's, I mean, everything before, I mean, this is the time when everything was acrylic lacquer with multicolors, lots of coats of clear coat. Like you put a gallon of clear on a car or some crap to get it to be shiny. You know, it was stuff today is totally different. But what you use is, you never use 316 stainless steel. Now this is an HHO kit I had before. I'm going to actually get some, I got the regular steel sheet metal 16 gauge for this car, because the metal on this older car is 16 gauge. I'm going to get some 18 gauge stainless steel, but 304 stainless steel. You do not want 316. You definitely do not want 316. I have been researching this before in pieces for years, but because I've been debating how I want to fix this rust. But if you got a truck that's up there in snow country, a plow truck, and you're not doing something structural on a truck, it's just the freaking bottom of the quarter panel, the bottom of the fender or something, a piece of the rocker, I think the stainless steel is the way to go. 304, not 316, because it's there's like chromium in the metal. You want to prep it with the sandblaster or bead blaster. You don't want to sand it to prep it. That'll make it stick. You want to use etching primer. I'm showing Rust-Oleum. I'm going to wind up using Rust-Oleum. Somebody's going to go on here like professional body man, like Rust-Oleum, man. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I took this paint on this car. This is sitting in the sun for the last 10 years. I know it's dull, right? This was like they put too much acrylic lacquer on here. It was all freaking chipping off and crap. I DA'd it real quick, pre-cleaned out it, spray can Duplicolor primer, and a little can of Duplicolor. stopped all that freaking any problems. It didn't flake off. 10 years, and this is where the sun is beating down. Okay, spray can is not that freaking bad if you freaking prep it good. But that's going to be the primer, not the top coat, you know, because I'm going to do in little sections, and I don't need that much self-etching crap. The other thing is, if you're going to be doing this with a regular steel, you want to use well-through primer, like this copper coat. I was using it on the floor in the Jeep a little bit, because I didn't like the idea that there's always this spot where you weld that's going to get all screwed up. Because these are cars and stuff I use in the dirt, the mud, crap, rain, garbage, you know what I mean? And so this is not for show cars, and I hate show cars, and I'll never own one. But what I was thinking about doing was using panel adhesive to glue in patch panels of 18 gauge stainless steel 304, because on the back side there's not going to be a weld joint. This stuff will work on stainless steel. I checked it on it. I saw 5 different answers in 5 different places on the internet. It works. It does make sense it would work. I don't see why it wouldn't work, because I don't know how to weld stainless steel to freaking steel anyway, and you know, I'm very much a very amateur welder to the max. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to use everywhere else that's in the back there after I cut this out. I'm going to pressure wash it, clean it, blow it out with air, wash it, use scrub brushes, dry it up. It's going to get rust reformer, then it's going to get truck bed lining. And what I'll do is I'll make a flange. And this is my little sandblaster I use. Actually, you don't need nothing big. This is a $20 sandblaster. I use a really short hose. I got a good size 110 volt. I don't have a 220. I don't have it's a 115 volt air compressor. I don't know what the hell it is. 5 CFM at 90 psi or something. It's, you know, 30-gallon tank, 40-gallon tank, whatever the hell that thing is. It's not that big. I'm a home user. But this little blaster, when you have this hose nice and short, I usually do is I leave it up here, and I put the part here, and that's how I blast. Real short length. It works. So I could pre-blast the panel that I'm going to put in. I don't have to worry about putting anything on the back of the stainless steel. Now, I was actually, you know, I fixed this tail light corroded socket before with vinegar the other day, or yesterday, whatever it was, the day before yesterday. I decided, you know, I cleaned out inside here, and you know, there's still rust, but I blasted it all out, used rust killing primer and truck bed lining all behind here just to stop it on the outside. It probably is going to slow it down a lot. But what I want to do is I want to cut out a piece and have my flange tool, and I can have everything on the inside where the piece isn't going to, the flange tool means it'll go over the outside. It makes a flange, so the piece overlaps. Now what I like about this 3M stuff, the 2-part 3M stuff, you don't have to worry about moisture getting inside the weld or having a porous weld. It's waterproof. The other thing is, if you get a chip, and say what you got to do is you got to put the self-etching primer, then epoxy primer, and then you can put a little Bondo over it, right? But say you chipped all the way through that crap. If that was steel, what happens is it gets under the Bondo and it rusts the metal and it just goes all over the place, right? This is stainless steel. It ain't gonna happen. That's why I'm thinking this is nothing. I got no real bad rust on this thing. It's like a little bit bullshit on the bottom. This is the worst side, actually. There's a little hole in the bed here. I kind of sealed it up with some goop. I didn't realize it was like right on the edge here, and it was basically just about the same rust I had when I got the car, and made this happen. This is the worst door. The other doors, even the other side is not even as bad as this side. So I got nothing structural to do. The frame is good, the floors are good. It's going to be stainless. It's going to be stainless. And I'm just bringing this up because I don't think people thought of this, including the body shop guys. And they'll probably tell me I'm full of shit, but I don't know. Whatever. Now I'm going to tell you this. This thing, this tailgate must have been fixed a long time ago. And it looks like they used galvanized. And you can see what happened? The paint didn't stick. Kind of chipped off. So what I'm going to do though, when I sand this down, I'm going to blast it with sandpaper, with the blast it with the play sand. I meant to say, nothing fancy. That's all I use. Play sand. Once it just kind of roughs up, that's good enough. Pre-Camino or lacquer thinner, self-etching primer, epoxy primer, and paint it. I mean, I'm probably not going to even go nuts with these dents. I'll probably just put a piece of wood over here and get that wave out of there, because I use this thing, man. I mean, I'll take this little dent out of here. A little bullshit. Maybe I'll pull this out a little bit, but I'll definitely take that out. But I'm going to go nuts with this thing because I use it. I hate, if it's Trailer Queen, I don't want the car. And I want the car. So I don't get it, man. I don't know. You know, I'm a person, if I see a 68 Camaro, I mean, it should be out there in the freaking snow with some L7815 fucking aggressive snow tires and tearing up the freaking slush in the mud, you know what I mean? I just don't like these little, I don't know, they just drive me nuts, man. Anyway, I don't care, man. I mean, you know how like the vanishing point with the Hemi, with the 440 CUDA, you know what I mean? The cars are made to freaking run, man. This is bullshit. But I think that this will work with a truck too. You know, you got these plow trucks, they're all screwed up because they're always out in the salt. And you know, the only problem with 316, now this is definitely, you wouldn't use something this thick, but it'd be like 18 gauge would be, 18 gauge 304 stainless steel should be about as strong as 16 gauge regular steel. It's not going to be as bendable, but it'll bend. It'll bend. The only problem you'll have with that is if you got to replace something up around here. But even so, I think it's a lot better to use that panel adhesive than a weld, because when you put these two pieces of metal together, yeah, you can seam seal and shit, but they'll be glued. They'll be glued. That crap is some strong stuff. I've been kind of messing with it a little bit on the Jeep. It is really strong stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some stainless steel, and I got other projects coming up, but I'm going to be doing it this way. And once I put this thing, before I do this, I'm going to continue on with you know, my rust treatment crap that's way underneath here, doing a section at a time. Make sure nothing rust on the inside of the frame, nothing rust on the floors, because the only thing I got to do is these little sections on the bottom. The other side is not that bad at all. It's got there's nothing structural. Like, that's the worst right there. There's a little bit down here. Not much. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. So you know, if you're not doing anything structural and you know, you're tearing up the snow, you're tearing up the mud, you're out there using the damn thing. And El Camino is always half truck, so it's not a little princess. So just again, to review this, do not use 316 stainless steel. You want to use a low grade stainless steel. It's still not going to rust through in a million years. You want to use like 304 or even something cheaper than that. You can go a little lighter gauge than the metal of the car because it's pretty tough stuff as it is. The part number, and it's 3M panel adhesive, is 08115. It's not for anything structural, but like I said, you're just patching up the outside of a quarter panel on the bottom. You're patching up And you know, the other thing is you can actually use structural rivets in some areas if somebody doesn't see it. If it's like behind a bumper, say for instance, you know, if you're, I mean, somebody's going to go, well, it ain't right, but, you know, say for instance I made a whole big panel. I'm not going to, but say I went all the way back in here, maybe I did, or say for instance it had to be one piece from here to all the way to here. I could put a few structural rivets in here that are made stainless steel, and you wouldn't see it behind his bumper. But then use the panel adhesive all along a piece like that, right? You wouldn't see it anyway. So I'm really putting this out for people that got vehicles they're going to use in the mud, the dirt, the snow, and all this other kind of crap. Because stainless steel is the way to go. If you replace this steel, and you keep it in the trailer, and you keep it in your climate controlled garage, it's never going to rust, right? If you're going to, I'm not even going to clear coat this car. This is going to be one stage enamel. And because if I screw it up and it gets scratched or some shit, it's going to get, I can respray a part where it gets scratched. I don't give a damn. So I think that's the way to do it, because those pieces, those panels will always freaking rust out. So again, 304 stainless steel, you want to prep it by not sanding it, not grinding it, not DAing it. You want to sandblast it, bead blast it. Use a sandblaster like that, 20 bucks. You want to use self-etching primer, follow it up with epoxy primer if you're going to put plastic over it. And I know some people put plastic over self-etching primer. I mean, I don't know. I can tell you, people have been doing, some people do shit different and it still works. But you're using self-etching primer, you know, you want to put, I would put the epoxy primer over it. Then you can put your plastic, a light coat of plastic over. You're not going to need much, especially when you use a flange tool. It's going to be butted up nice and even. This stuff, it's not going to get, you're not going to have to worry about any kind of porous wells. And also any other area behind here that you didn't patch panel, you want to go over it with rust reformer, truck bed lining. And that should be better than brand new. That should be better than the cars they make today. As long as you don't do anything structural with this deal, it should be fine. And you know, those areas on the bottom of your car, the bottom of your door, I mean, even if it's not on the inside, they are getting smacked with rocks, they're getting smacked with dirt. I mean, I used to take this out even in Southern California. They had the dirt roads. And El Camino, man, 4-speed, right, 350 posi. I used to take it out in the mud, like Southern California, be dry as all hell, and then when it would rain, it'd be mud city, because it would rain all at once. I'd be taking out all these back roads and stuff and tearing it up, man. So this is definitely not it never will be a trailer queen, and that aggravates me. I don't know why the hell people do that. They should be using these things, man. Using them, you know. So anyway, that's my tip. 304 stainless steel panel adhesive. You prep the stainless steel with bead blast or sand blast, say light sand blast. Use self-etching primer. After the self-etching primer, use epoxy primer. Then you can put plastic over it. It should hold forever. I mean, it should hold freaking until the sun, you know, the sun stops shining, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? I mean, talking about like it burns out. So that's the way to do it, and you can keep these old buckets running forever, man. Because I know I've been lengthy on this, but you know what? Oh, it just burns me to hell up about this freaking trailer queen shit. Ugh. I hate it, man. I hate it. I don't know what the point is, yo-yos. We're rich fucks buying. I mean, even if I was a rich fuck, you know, it's just not my style, man. It's not my style. You know? Just bury the freaking gold and silver and be a human being. That's the way I look at it.